All right, well, thank you so much for being here. My name is Ian Hahn, and this is my presentation, Innovation, Renovation, Transforming the Diamond into the Heart of Campus. So we have a problem here on campus. We have a little over 2 acres of relatively unused space here on campus, which is the baseball field. Only about 48 students out of the undergraduate population of around 5,000 actually are a part of the baseball team, which means that a little less than 1% of students actually use the baseball field on a consistent basis. Now, these 48 students, as wonderful and good looking as they are, it is still only the little less than 1% of the campus community. So, what can we do with this space? Space is precious on campus. How can we use this space a little more effectively and a little more efficiently for all students? Well, let's look at the Hopkins environment. If you look at the green circle, that's about 3 blocks around campus and in any direction. A little over, according to Johns Hopkins University Security, a little over 90% of Hopkins students live within those 3 blocks. When polled, 98% of students said they didn't go home on weekends. What does this mean? Hopkins campus is the center of society for these students. So if we look at the campus map and let's zoom in a little bit closer towards the baseball field, you'll see the buildings directly adjacent to the baseball field are freshman living facilities. The 4 out of the 5 freshman living facilities are right next to the baseball field. About 99% of freshmen, live on campus, which means about 4/5 of the freshmen live right next to the baseball field. Also, the majority of upperclassmen housing is on West and East University Parkway, which means that this place is extraordinarily high trafficked and it's not being used. How can we use this space for students for every single day? What are we going to put there? Why not something student-centered? Why not something that students can use on a daily basis? So, let's take a look at the map again. If you count every single one of those buildings and you categorize them, this is what you'll get. 72 total buildings. 28 of them are academic, of course. 17 of them are office and administration space. 14 of them are residential halls, including off-campus, university-owned off-campus apartments. 10 of them are athletic, arts, or alumni buildings. We even have 2 faith-based buildings. But what do we not have here on campus? What is so important to on-campus student life that we don't have? We have 0 social buildings here on campus. So, you might think to yourself, we do have social facilities, and you'd be right. We do have social facilities. Let's take a look at them. First, Levering Hall, a fantastic building. Has great event space, a cafeteria, has the Office of Student Life, but the cafeteria is open 3 hours a day on weekdays, 15 hours total in the week. That's not great. The event space as well is relatively unused. It's physically located on the south side of campus, away from most of the 3/4 of the campus that lives, again, on that north side near that baseball field. Second place that we have is the DMC. A fantastic location for technology and people who love technology, want to get in-depth learning into technology and whatnot. But it doesn't really have much draw for non-tech people. And it's also physically located in the Matin Center, again away from a lot of the students and where they live. We also have Nolan's. Nolan's is probably our closest place to being a student center here on campus. It has the events, it has the pool tables, it has the cafeteria, but it's physically located within one of the residence halls in Charles Commons. It's great for those 600 residents who live within Charles Commons, but for the 4,400 other residents that live outside of Charles Commons, it's very hard to get to. The front doors are locked, the hours are not the greatest. So all these places, what does 3 places of social atmosphere also do? It pulls apart the social experience here. We only have an undergraduate population of 5,000. We don't have the opportunity, and we don't really have the necessity for 3 different spaces. So, you might think to yourself, how do you know, Ian? How would you know, other than you being a student, how would you know what students want and what students will? Well, I'll prove it to you. What we did was we took a poll of the Blue Key tour guides. Why Blue Key? Well, we wanted to take the students who loved the university the most. So we wanted to try to reduce confounding for those students who are going to be, who are going to have a negative attitude on the school, no matter if it was the best place on earth, no matter if it was Disneyland. Okay? So we took these Blue Key tour guides and we asked them a couple questions about on-campus social life. The first thing was, how is the on-campus social life? 3/4 of them couldn't say anything positive. 3/4 of them said that it was very bad, or just okay. These are the Blue Key tour guides. These are the students who spend hours of their week selling the school to prospective students, and they can't say anything positive about the social life. There's something wrong. So now we asked them also, what would a social building do for on-campus social life? 85%. 85% of students said it would increase or greatly increase student life here on campus. To quote one of the people, who filled out the survey, they said, at this point, anything would help. There's something wrong. So, what am I proposing? Oh, I'm sorry, what is the need? The need, why can't we take the pros from all three of our social facilities on campus and bring them together in one place? In one place where we have the event space, the cafeteria, the lounge, the food, all of this. So what am I proposing? The Johns Hopkins Center for Enjoyment. Or what we call JHUCE. So, by the numbers, JHUCE of course, yes. By the numbers, it's a 75,000 square foot, 4-story building. And it's one hub. It's one hub dedicated to student social life and the engagement and facilitation of co-curricular and extracurricular activities. So, let's jump right in. Take a look at what it is. Basement, a theater. 500-seat theater. Why 500 seats? Sounds like a big theater. Well, we don't really have anything right now between the 120-seat black box theater of Sornow and the 1,200-seat theater of Shriver Hall. There are plenty of students and student groups who can fill and overfill Sornow, but really would never be able to fill Shriver. There's just not enough students here to consistently fill Shriver Hall. So why not create a space where student groups can actually create bigger and better performances? Also, this space will be multi-use. So not only will you have the proscenium stage, which you classically think of as a stage theater, but you also have the ability to have speaker series, to have smaller, people come in and have stand-up comedy shows, as well as a movie theater. With the success of the Woolman movie theater, we want to be able to offer that not only to the couple hundred students who live in Woolman, but across the board to all the students. So if we look at the first floor, it's the Plaza Food Court. What we want to do with this Plaza Food Court is have a large open atrium in the beginning, as well as the food in the back and a large open lounge area to my right, I guess our left, all the way on the side. We want to do 4 things with this building. We want it to be convenient. Well, we already proved that. We already proved that about 3/4 of the students live on that north side of campus. The majority of upperclassmen housing all of those freshmen right there, right by the baseball field. We also wanted to offer choice. We want to offer fast casual dining for students, things that we don't have right now here on campus. So something like a Five Guys, a Taco Bell, a Pinkberry. These places would be able to facilitate the choice and have students be able to choose what they want to eat at what time. We also want it to be social. Right now, the social atmosphere for food is, as a freshman, a social construct. You go to the FFC, you meet your friends, you make new friends. That's fantastic. But as a sophomore, junior, and senior, you don't have that. You lose that. As a sophomore, junior, and senior, you usually are eating on the fly or eating on the run, whatever it is, because we just don't have the space for that. So creation of a social engagement in this food court would be pivotal. 4th thing, we want it to be 24 hours. We want it to be around, college students increasingly lead around-the-clock lifestyles. You might be up at 3, 4 a.m. doing shenanigans, whatever it is. We want you to be able to have a space on campus, a more safe and secure location. So, if you are up at 3, 4 a.m., you want to go do something, what is there to do? Go to a frat house. Go to a bar. Let's try to bring that space away from those locations. Those are fantastic locations. You have those social atmospheres, those social things to go to. We want to also offer space for students, like a safe haven at 3, 4 a.m. Also, if you wanted to meet with a group at 3, 4 a.m., or just in general, you'll usually be in an academic space. Where do you go right now? The Brody Learning Commons. Where do you go right now? The Embassy Library. What are those? Library spaces. So what else do we want to do? We want to create a Blue Jay Nest lounge, and this we want to focus on entertainment. So games such as pool, foosball, ping pong, these sorts of things. TVs. Again, let's bring the sporting events away from the bar. If you want to go see the Olympics this summer, where are you going to go? PJs. We want to bring that away from the bar scene and offer a safe haven for students who are not 21, or claim that they're not 21. We also want to have a stage, a small stage like a coffee house feel. You can have slam poetry or any sort of little art projects or little a cappella concerts, whatever it is. A jazz band maybe come in, as well as we're going to have a large outdoor patio and a wall of windows that overlooks Homewood Field. So if you're not at the game, you can still have that connection to the athletic life here on campus. 3rd floor, we want to offer an expanded digital media center. Right now, the DMC is an amazing, amazing location, full of fantastic resources and programs that you'd never be able to get as a student. Thousands and thousands of dollars as a student, such as like Final Cut, Photoshop, Aperture, all of these amazing places. But the demand for the resources is so high, it's very, very difficult to be able to use those on a consistent basis. We want to expand that out. We also want to create specialty spaces. So something like a film production studio, an audio recording studio, a small gaming theater. So no matter who you are, you have the opportunity to delve deeper into your specific technology, your specific digital arts. We want to facilitate that space. We also want to create the Student Engagement and Leadership Center, or what we call SEAL. So we have 381 different student groups here on campus. That seems like a lot, and it is. To put that in perspective, Miami University, which has 16,000 students, has just about the same number of students, or student groups that we have here on campus. They are literally over three times the size of our undergraduate population, and they have just about the same number of student groups. Hopkins students are extraordinarily involved, and we want to be able to expand opportunity for them and expand space. So what do I mean by the expansion of space? We want to create category office or category student group rooms. So for example, like a acapella group office, or a publication office, or a sports office. So no matter who you are, no matter what student group you have the opportunity to have that office space to meet in those spaces. So you're not using the study spaces. So you're not using the library spaces to that purpose. Okay? We also want to have the Office of Student Affairs. We want to bring together student-centered offices like the Office of Student Life and the Office of Student Activities, bring them together to create a more structured student life structure here on campus. A more structured student life structure. We want to create a more efficient structure so you can create more, social events and more, social activities for students from the campus, the top-down kind of structure. So in other words, we want to create a social experience here on Hopkins campus. Right now, we just don't have that. 0 social buildings, we just don't have that. We also want to facilitate engagement of co-curricular and extracurricular activities. We can expand space, we can expand opportunities for these students. It's also necessary. Why is it necessary? I'm the head of the tour guides here at Hopkins. I've given 177 tours, a little over 30 information sessions, over 30 interviews. I've literally met tens of thousands of prospective students. One of the biggest questions that I get asked is, what's the social life here on campus? So go ahead, pull out your phones and Google Johns Hopkins social life. This is what you're going to get. The first thing is from College Confidential, an extraordinarily The first result is from College Confidential, an extraordinarily popular student, prospective student website. They talk about how horrible and dead the student life is, how it's non-existent. Well, that's okay. That's only one website. Let's go to result 2. Quotes on your social life from studentreviews.com, another enormously popular prospective student website. Disappointed, sadly deficient in activities, funds, and ideas. We laugh, but it's not here. And we're losing prospective students, people who could change the world because we don't have this here on campus. We've done such an amazing job in the past 10 to 20 years of creating this amazing undergraduate experience, especially in academics. Have you seen the Brody Learning Commons? It's unbelievable. We just need to finish. We just need to create this social atmosphere and just imagine what we can do. Thank you so much. Are there any questions? Neil.
I'm wondering about it's a great presentation. Just wondering about the cost of the structure.
That's a fantastic question. And let's go to Appendix A. So, what we did was we had EV Studio, a professional architecture studio, aggregate 250 student unions from across the United States. And this is what they came up with for base construction costs. $154.83 per square foot. That sounds low, I know. But this is what they came up with, so let's go with that. So, what we also did was we took the student body, we took 6 schools that were directly linked to Hopkins one way or another in prestige or size, or both, excuse me. And we had Princeton, Stanford, Vanderbilt, Harvard, Columbia, and Brown. Some pretty decent universities. And we took their size of their student unions, and then we pretty much averaged them and then found a nice clean number. And that's 75,000 square feet. So let's take a look at the numbers. We took 75,000 square feet. We took it with $150 to $300 dollars per square foot, since we took 154 as the low margin to 300. And then took about $600 to $700 per square foot for it probably be comparable to Rhodey Learning Commons, and then created this $56 million to $75 million as the construction cost for this building.
If we were to build this building and
Yes.
build it at the site of the baseball field, would it diminish the value of the Rhodey Learning Commons? Would it become such a hub that it eclipses the other?
You know what, that's a fantastic question, and I don't think so. Because listen, the Rhodey Learning Commons, what was it made for? Group study space. Not group space, not social space, group study space. It's an academic building. It's a building that you want to go to learn, to have this awesome cohesive environment for studying in academics. This is going to be a social location. This is going to be where you can go to relax, to have them out. Of course, it's Johns Hopkins. People are going to use it for study space. People are going to use everything for study space. Why do you think I have a D level? That's disgusting. But this building is going to be for the social life. So no, I don't think at all it would be, because they're two completely different markets. Yes?
So I want to challenge your notion that this is the right location for this building,
Sure.
as opposed to the idea that we need this kind of space.
Absolutely.
You say a majority of freshmen live up that way, but of the 5,000 students or 5,500 students, to me, I think more of them live along the 33rd Street corridor or something like that. So how are you going to draw these folks up to the freshman corner of campus?
Sure. Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And it is the freshman quad. However, if you look at the actual numbers of who lives where, you will see the majority of upperclassmen. It's slight, but the majority of upperclassmen do live on that West and East University Parkway side. Like, you do have a lot who live in Wyman Towers or Village Lofts, but there's again just not that amount of students. I mean, if you ask, raise your hand, you say, who lives where, more, West University would probably be, the place for upperclassmen. It's a fantastic question of how you draw people. I think this building inherently does that. It draws people to this side. It's very, very close for those West University students and those freshmen who live on campus. But for the other quarter that doesn't live there, it's still pretty close. I mean, if you go on to, let's say, Woolman or McCoy, it's about a 2-minute walk. Less than 2-minute walk. So to get there, it's like a 1/10 of a mile or something like that to get there. So drawing those students, I don't think will be hard. It's like it's to Levering. It's probably like 3 times or a third of the way to Levering right now. So you're going to a social building that's 3/10 of a mile away instead of you're going to a building that's 1/10 of a mile away. You know what I'm saying? Question, yes.
Do you have any revenue model for putting in Taco Bell and those fast food enterprises?
Taco Bell and they're really trying to get numbers from them is very difficult. I did go and look for it, and I know you can get revenue, or you can get a profit sharing. Looking at the university, would that actually happen? They're bringing in external. Neil, I mean, you would know better than anyone. You and I would know better than anyone. But it's very, very difficult to bring off-campus businesses onto campus. This we would try, and I would push as much as I could to have off-campus food be there, because it would be a revenue stream.
Absolutely.
You would be able to have that revenue from Taco Bell or whatever. They'd be able to profit share because they're getting a great location, but you're also getting the choice. So it's a win-win situation.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Do you guys have any other questions for
Somebody over there.
Yep.
What would happen with the other buildings like DMC? What would happen with the other buildings like DMC and Leverage and so on?
It's a great question. So space on campus, what would it not be? I think is a better question. Space on campus, again, is precious. There are so many offices that are filled by CLE, for example. How many assistant professors or part-time professors share one office? Something like 32. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Space on campus is extraordinarily precious, and we have a little over 2 acres that are relatively unused. That's, there's something wrong. And I love the baseball team. You guys are fantastic, but I just think this location is just too precious. Just too precious to let go. Yeah.
Okay, so I like a lot of what you propose. I think a lot of the things that exist on campus right now are great that you'd like to emulate. And so, like, I think great idea on face, but the question I have is essentially, so what you propose, what it sounds like, is basically fusing together, say, Brody Learning Commons, Charles Commons, the DMC, Axes and PJs into one place. And so I guess my question is, like, given that no building on campus has yet attempted to be this diverse in its uses, what do you think the feasibility of your project will be?
I think it's extremely feasible. That's a great question, but I think it's extremely feasible. I think that, being able to create this space is something that we don't, you said it yourself, we don't have this, and buildings haven't tried this yet. Levering doesn't try to be anything other than a sort of, social space. Have you gone into Levering at 6 o'clock, 7? I actually work at Levering at the front desk, and you see people at 6 to 7 o'clock. Right when you should be, getting off of classes, and you should be, having fun or playing with your friends, whatever it is. And Levering has a great lounge. If you go in there, 0 people, maybe 1 person, and they're studying. What are you doing? So it's the creation of this space. I think is extraordinarily feasible because you said yourself, you want this. I mean, how many students want a better social life? Just raise your hands. Better social life here on campus. That's the majority. Those students who didn't raise their hands who argue. I see students in the back actually doing work during my presentation. And this is exactly what I'm saying.